James Skrmetta here, a freshly shaven James Skrmetta, might I add. We are going to go over the New Orleans Saints 2020 season schedule. The NFL was nice enough to release their schedule in a 3-hour show on Thursday night. A bit long, not going to lie. Probably shouldn't have taken 3 hours to get these schedules out of here. But let's go straight to the schedule. We're going to throw out win or loss predictions, which will give us a overall record prediction for the Saints. First time I've looked at this. First time I've done these predictions. When I saw the schedule, let me say this. When I saw the schedule, I could not get over how it's almost like if you were to ask a person to create a schedule on Madden or something. I mean, this is a really fun schedule. We do not have many games that miss. The only real miss is probably the Packers, the Lions, and the Broncos, to be honest. The rest of those games are really, really fun. They all have kind of narratives. They all have kind of storylines. And we play 5 primetime games. I'm counting Christmas Day as prime time since it's on a Friday. There's only so many games. But we played 4 true primetime games. Monday nights, Sunday nights, all that. So the Saints are basically, I think the Saints are kind of like the backup Cowboys, where the Cowboys are America's team and everybody loves to see them on prime time, whatever. I think the Saints are slowly getting to that point to where they're just a really intriguing team for America. I think Breeze is intriguing. I think the city of New Orleans is intriguing. The Dome is intriguing. And they're just a fun, fast-paced, high-powered team with good players all over the place. You know, Breeze, Kamara, Thomas, they're fun players to watch. Taysom Hill is one of the most exciting players in the league. So I think the Saints are just one of those teams where the NFL knows, hey, if we put these guys on prime time, the game isn't going to suck. It's going to be a fun game. There's star players all over the place. They're going to be in the hunt, and we can just have a ton of shots of the Superdome audience in New Orleans. And, the fans go crazy. I go to almost every home game. It's nuts in there. It is absolutely insane. So we start off against Tampa Bay in the Dome Sunday, September 13th in the afternoon. So just an afternoon game. Skip Bayless was tweeting about this, and I really don't want to get into Skip Bayless's tweet, but he was talking about how it's unfair that the NFL saddled up Tom Brady with the toughest matchup of the season on the first game when he has less time to prepare. How stupid is that statement? I mean, how insane would it be if the NFL catered to a player's preparedness level when making the schedule? If I found out that the NFL was changing the Buccaneers' schedule to better fit Tom Brady's preparedness level, that would be insane. And it's not like we're out of division. We're a division opponent. They have to play us twice. They have to play us. So it's not like they just picked one team that they just so happen to play and put them first. They got to get the divisional games out of the way. So we play the Bucs in the Dome. I'm going to give the Saints the win there. I think the Bucs will be good. I don't think the Bucs will be like a Super Bowl team. I don't think the Bucs are better than us. Vegas has released the line at being Saints minus 6.5. So that's a pretty. That pretty much puts us as a 2 to 3 point better team according to Vegas. So in the Dome, I'm going to go ahead and give us the win. So let's put a check mark there. That is 1-0 on the season. Then we go to Vegas for Monday Night Football. First Monday night game, Vegas Raiders. Exciting. How exciting is that? A lot of New Orleans people will travel. A lot of Saints fans will travel to Vegas. That's obviously a fun destination. I would go if I had the opportunity. I would be there. Vegas, with Derek Carr starting, I just don't think they can reach that level. I think Derek Carr's okay. I think he's bang average, probably maybe a little bit below average, somewhere in there. Somewhere in between like the 15 to 18th ranked quarterback. And I think we're just better than Vegas, and we may even be a road favorite in this game. Monday night, lights burn bright. I'm going to give us the win. Although I will say that we struggle mightily in the beginning of the season. I think Breeze is like 3-7 in openers or something like that. So the first couple of weeks of the season have not been good to the Saints. But I'm going to say we get the win here. 2-0, who dat? Next up, Sunday Night Football against the Packers in the Dome. Green Bay is going to be really interesting because I'm not totally sure Aaron Rodgers wants to be there. I'm not totally sure he even will be there. I mean, if he gets all in his feelings about the Jordan Love thing, could he be in New England? Could he be somewhere else? Possibly. Sunday night in the Dome will be absolutely rocking against the Packers. Fun fact for all the, or not a fact, I guess, but for those of you who are not from the area, when I was growing up in the 90s and even the 2000s, the Packers were kind of the second favorite team in the South because of Brett Favre. Brett Favre was born and grew up about 30 minutes away from New Orleans. The Packers won their Super Bowl in New Orleans. So New Orleans is a little bit of a Packers haven. The South really is kind of a Packers haven. It's a little different now that Favre has been away for so long. But Green Bay will be represented pretty well in this game. Green Bay will certainly have the cheeseheads in the Dome. I had a cheesehead growing up from that Super Bowl. But the Packers, even though they were 13-3 or whatever last year, it's hard for me to see the Packers matching that, especially with Rodgers probably pissed off. So I'll give the Saints a win there. Starting off 3-0 is kind of makes me think like I'm a little too much, possibly, which I could be, I suppose. But I'm giving us the win here. Sunday Night Football in the Dome. Let's go, baby. Next up, the Detroit Lions on the road Sunday at noon, early game. I think this would be a close game. Detroit, not a good team at all, but this is one of those games where it's in between Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. It's an early game. It's in Detroit. It's on the road. It's a weird game. It's a weird little spot. I could see it being a slip-up spot, but it's hard for me to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to beat Tampa Bay, Vegas, Green Bay, and we're going to drop one to Detroit here. I'm going to say we win this game, but it's probably out of the first 4 games is the game I'm least confident in. So 4-0. Who dat? Monday Night Football. So we go, I mean, you talk about prime time, baby. We go Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Lions game, and then Monday Night Football. Chargers at home. Again, we're in the Dome. If the Chargers field Tyrod Taylor, we're winning this game. The Chargers are really good roster-wise, but man, I mean, Tyrod Taylor, I just can't see him coming into the Dome and winning this game. The fans are going to be out of control. The team is going to be out of control. They're going into a bye week, so they know, hey, take care of business, go on your bye week, and we're good to go. So give us the win, man. We're 5-0. Next up, we're back in the Dome against Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater back in the Dome for the first time. That'll be fun. I think Carolina's the worst team in the division. I think Carolina is not good at all. I don't think Bridgewater's very good. And this defense will know Bridgewater. This team will know Bridgewater. They'll know his capabilities. We do tend to allow Christian McCaffrey to go bananas in pajamas. So I could see him having a pretty strong fantasy game here. But I'm not going to say that Teddy Bridgewater comes in and beats the Saints. It'd be a good story, I guess. I could see that, grabbing headlines. But 6-0? 6-0. At the Bears could be sneaky good if they play Foles. If Foles can be half of what he was in Philadelphia and they start him over Trubisky, I'm in. I'm there. I'm cool with that. So the Saints going into this game will be 7-0 or 6-0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-0. I'm going to say they lose this game because it's a look-ahead spot, classic look-ahead spot in between 2 division games, going to Sunday Night Football against Tom Brady. I think the Bears, being a non-divisional team on the road, I think this is where the Saints drop their first game, drop one to the Bears. So I'm going to give us the loss here. Then we go to Sunday Night Football, another primetime game, the last true primetime game. The next one being Christmas Day. But then, I mean, this is crazy. Out of the first, you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of the first 9 weeks, we have 4 primetime games. That's crazy. Half of the weeks of the first couple of months of the season were primetime. At Tampa Bay, I think we split Tampa Bay. Beating Tom Brady is tough twice. So I'm going to say we get one at home, they get one at home. Sunday night on the road. Saints aren't a great road team anyways. You never know in Tampa. It could be raining, could be gross. And I'd much rather have Brady in a gross weather game than Breeze. So I'll say we drop this one as well. A 2-game skid, not good. Come on, Saints. So at this point we're 6-2, correct? Next up, Frisco in the Dome. All right, we just come off 2 losses. We're back in the Dome, afternoon game, so decent rest. It's not something crazy. Tampa Bay to New Orleans isn't that bad of a travel spot. It's off of back-to-back road games, so you got to think we're a little tired here. Although we did have the bye week, but we're playing Frisco. Last time Frisco was in the Dome was the 55-56 game or whatever it was. Jimmy Garoppolo was. I was at that game. Jimmy Garoppolo was the best player on the planet during that game. George Kittle. I mean, George Kittle in the Dome that day was an unstoppable force. I have been on record saying that I think Frisco is going to suffer the same fate as the Rams after the Rams went to the Super Bowl. I don't think Frisco is the team that people think they are. I think Frisco is one of those teams where they kind of struck, they kind of got, not lucky, but they won in spite of Garoppolo a lot of the times, and they just kind of found a way to win. They had a couple unknown running backs who played out of their mind. The defense was really good. At this point in the season, I think Frisco will be a pretty mediocre team. I don't think this will be, the undefeated 49ers versus the 2-loss Saints. I don't think this is going to be something like that. With that being said, San Francisco is a dangerous team. Can Garoppolo come back in here and win this game? Again, I'm going to give the Saints the win just because it's at home. If this was in Frisco, I may lean San Francisco. But in the Dome, off 2 losses, I think the Saints right the ship here and get the win. So we're 7-2. Next up, Falcons at home, back-to-back home games at noon. I think the Falcons are very similar to the Bucs, where we just split series. So I'm going to say we win this game against the Falcons and we lose on the road. I think that's how that's going to go. Or it may be flip-flop, but I think we'll go 1-1 with the Falcons. The Falcons, I'll tell you this right now. I would take the Falcons over the Niners going into the season. That's a hot take, ladies and gentlemen. We're 8-2 going on the road to Denver. This is another trap game. I think we lose this game in between the Falcons games, so it's going to be one of those deals where we're not. I mean, look, you're talking about going Frisco, Atlanta, on the road to Denver, on the road to Atlanta, on the road to Philly. This is a tough slate right here. I think you're going to see a couple losses. So I think we lose to Denver, and if we won the Atlanta game at home, our next game is at Atlanta at noon. I think we lose to Atlanta there. It is brutal to go to Denver, play in Mile High, where the oxygen is tight, baby. People are going to be tired, and then have to travel, immediately go back to Atlanta for a divisional opponent, your biggest rival. So I'm going to say we drop both those games. So we're on another road skid here, which is kind of ugly. So at this point, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-2, 7, 8. So we're 8-4 at this point, going to Philadelphia, and we play afternoon game, regular stuff. Man, this is a super tough. Another one of those games where, is it a trap? Is this a trap game where you're sitting there and you're staring at this and you're like, I mean, the Chiefs are next, and you get the Chiefs at home, but you're coming off the end of this road stand. You just dropped a couple to Denver and Atlanta. Philly's a dangerous team. If Wentz is upright and he's playing good, this is a tough matchup. I'm gonna say we win this game, but man, this is a really season-defining game right here. This is tough. Next game, we play the Chiefs at home. I don't trust the defense enough to stop Mahomes. I don't think we're built for a team like Kansas City. I even said it last year. I thought that they were our worst matchup possible. I would have rather played anybody else than the Chiefs if we would have made it to the Super Bowl. LOL. JK. Teams like that, we just don't do well against because Breeze is not the same Breeze. He's not the guy who can just go throw deep balls all day and light it up. He's much more of a, bending. He's much more of a, I'm going to get 18 yards, 15 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards. I'm just going to dink and dunk you down the field and score every time versus quick strike, super dangerous, stuff like that. So when we're playing a team like Kansas City and they stretch it out and they can do that, we have a really hard time of, if they just score, if it's 17-0, by the time we get back to 17, they've already scored a couple more times and we just can never catch up. So we're built a little bit differently than I think people think we are. This is the biggest game of the season. This game's amazing, and it's going to be a super fun game, especially in the Dome. I'm going to give the Chiefs here the tight win, but I think the Chiefs are the best team in football. So I mean, this is going to be a close one. This is going to be a close one. It'll probably be Chiefs -1 or a pick at this game. I would somewhere in there. Depends on if you give the Saints like 3.5 or 4 for home field, but that's a different topic for a different video. Coming off the Chiefs loss, we have another home game, back-to-back home games finally, and we are playing the Vikings. The Vikings are a thorn in our side. I mean, playoff losses to these sons of bitches. Kirk Cousins, so bad. Like, Kirk Cousins is just so damn bad. I'm going to give the Saints the win here because Kirk Cousins, here's a little fact, Kirk Cousins is not good in games that aren't at noon. He's notoriously bad for games outside of the noon time slot. If you don't believe me, do a little research. It's actually kind of shocking. Kirk Cousins at noon is probably one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Kirk Cousins outside of noon is probably not a starting quarterback in the NFL. We have major revenge here, motivation on $1 million for last year and the Minnesota Miracle. We don't like Minnesota. The fans don't like Minnesota. The players don't like Minnesota. They beat us at home last year. I'm sick of losing to these guys. We beat Minnesota. Final game of the season, we go to Carolina. Again, I don't think Carolina's a very good team. I don't think it matters where we play this team. We're not a good road team, but we're better than Carolina if we play them in New Orleans, if we play them in Carolina, or if we play them on Mars. So I'm going to give us the win here as well. So that gives us wins against Tampa Bay, Vegas, Green Bay, Detroit, Chargers, Carolina. Then we drop against Chicago and the Bucks, so we're 6-2. We win against the Niners and the Falcons, so we're 8-2. We drop 2 more, we're 8-4. Then we win 1 against the Eagles, we're 9-4. Lose 1 to the Chiefs, we're 9-5. So we're 11-5. The final, right? This is what we end up with. We're 11-5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And this is the correct schedule. So 11-5. So I'm saying the Saints go 11-5 this year. That's good. That's 11-5 and probably the division. This is, I would say, the first or second toughest division in the NFL. The only other competition, really, I think, is the NFC West. And that's because Arizona is better than Carolina. So Seattle's good. Frisco's good. Arizona was kind of that team where they were kind of the punching bag, but how much better is Arizona than the Rams? You know, or how much better is the Rams than Arizona? They're pretty close. So the last 2 teams in the NFC West are really close and both pretty damn good, if nothing else, average. And I think Carolina is kind of holding us down, but Tampa Bay, New Orleans, and the Falcons are 3 really strong teams to have in the same division. So 11-5 in that division, when you also play the Packers, when you also play the Niners, when you also play the Chiefs. I mean, we're playing, if we play the Titans, we would play the entire conference championship teams from last year. So this schedule is really tough, but it's such a fun schedule. We have our hard games at home, which you want to see. You know, we have Green Bay at home, we have Kansas City at home, we have Minnesota at home. So even though we do go on the road for a couple of stretches there, this is like a fan's dream, I think. Just to see this schedule, to go to these games, to watch these primetime games. Great season to be a Saints fan. 11-5 would be fantastic. 11-5, and I would say that wins us the division. And if nothing else, gets us a wild card, and especially with the new playoff edition. So this is a playoff team. This is a team that has to win. I think Vegas has us currently as having the second most wins in the NFL. I believe we are right there. I think we're like top 5 in Super Bowl odds. So we're a good team. The Saints are a team that are supposed to win games. The Saints are a team that are supposed to make a run in the Super Bowl as long as they have Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Alvin Kamara is the big question mark. Will we see Alvin Kamara from 2 years ago, or will we see Alvin Kamara from last year? Was he healthy last year? I say no. I tend to believe that Alvin Kamara was banged up last year, and that's why we got that performance. And I think it was a failure on the medical staff and on the coaching, where if he was hurt and if he was playing hurt, don't let him have 18 touches a game, So, but I think I'm excited for the Saints this season. I think this is a season where the Saints could really do some things. And as Breeze winds down, every year it's like, is this the last chance? Is this the last go? Is this the last real opportunity? Because if Breeze leaves, unless we make some move like the Bucs did, where we go get Aaron Rodgers or go get whoever, we're going to be rebuilding. And I mean, we have Jameis, but I'm not ready to be like, oh yeah, Breeze leaves and Jameis just leads us to the conference championship. He could, but that's a bit of a stretch. So 11-5, I'm cool with it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think the Saints are going to go 11-5, 12-4, 10-6, miss the playoffs, win the Super Bowl? Let me know in the comments below, or reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter at James_Skrmetta. And of course, you can find my podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, wherever podcasts are sold. And ours is sold for free. So go there and subscribe and listen to me rant and ramble for hours at a time. It really is fun, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching this video. Who dat?